Hey there, I'm doing a review on a Schneider skink, berber skink, whatever you want to call it. Um, I've heard it both ways, Schneider, berber, doesn't matter. Um, Honestly, I've had so many questions from people, and oh, get out of my hair, on what. She wants to sit on top of my head, so she can sit on top of my head. Okay, so I've had so many questions from friends, family members, Yahoo questions, whatever, on what is a great starter pet as far as reptiles go. And some people say snakes, and some people say, different lizards and stuff. In my opinion, the Schneider or Berber skink is the best starter pet for your kid. And it's because it's cheap, it's affectionate. I've never had a Schneider bite me out of like anger or fear or anything like that. It's always out of like it's happened once to me and once to my fiance where she mistook it for food. That was it. And as soon as she realized it wasn't food, she was right off of it. Um, she has no teeth. Oh, 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 okay. This is Cortana. Oh, Cortana. They're very beautiful lizards. Beautiful. She's got great brown and orange coloring with a yellow stomach or tail. I guess no, it's more yellow. Um, they're very affectionate lizards. Like love attention, love being held, love being on top of your head. Um, um, they eat. Ow! They eat just about everything. Here, go ahead. Great climbers. They also love to burrow. They're burrowing lizards, so you generally need to get them something like sand or the coconut fiber, which I've had her in both. She seems to like the sand better. She has an easier time burrowing and covering up in that. She's watching me from above. Come on. There we go. We've got a skink hat. They eat everything. They're so easy to keep in food. Like, she eats crickets, cheap. Mealworms, cheap. You can buy them for like $2 or $3 for like 50 to 100 depending on where you go. And you keep them in the fridge and they last forever because they hibernate and they literally will last months. So she gets usually crickets and mealworms and an occasional pinky mouse, the baby mice, which is like a rare treat, but she devours them. Um, Not only that, but they can eat fruits and vegetables, bananas, strawberries, grapes. You can't feed them avocados because I believe it's the case with most reptiles. It's toxic to them, so they can't have avocados. But they're really easy. If you have any fruit and vegetables in your fridge, you probably can feed them whatever's in there, as long as it's like not cooked. It's usually raw, stuff like that. Or you can buy they have pre-done. It's like cat food, but for reptiles like iguanas and turtles and stuff. It's in the pop top can, and it's got a mix of fruits and vegetables. But usually it's like red banana and papaya, mango, stuff like that. And they love that. Like she eats everything. In some cases, you can give skinks cat food, but you usually have to make sure it's a product. I think like Ims is good because it has to have a low ash and high protein and something else. But that's like as a treat. That should not be as a actual food item on a daily basis. Um, she's currently housing in a 10-gallon because the 20-gallon is gone to the ball python because he needed it more. She's eventually going to get a bigger tank. It's just, she's fine the way she is right now. She's happy. Trust me. She's ridiculous. I want to get her a hamster wheel because apparently they like hamster wheels like a treadmill. But she's got sand in a 10-gallon. If you're going to get an under tank heater, make sure you get the felt tank liner. It's thick. It's about that thick. and it's just to make sure that when they burrow, they don't hit the hot glass and burn themselves. Also, don't get heat rocks. I've heard so many people say, oh no, heat rocks are fine, they're great. They're not. I've seen so many pictures, and I've taken classes on animal care and understanding from a amazing vet. Amazing. And heat rocks will burn the scales off and the skin off, and it can also cause the food to cook in their stomach, which is bad for them. And so it's heat rocks are bad. They're bad news, because reptiles, unfortunately, can't tell the difference between this is too cold and this is too hot. They just know cold and hot. So they don't get it. That's why you see so many reptiles who will touch a bare bulb and just lay on it on their heat lamps and burn themselves, because they don't know. They can't tell. So heat mat under the tank, or a heat lamp above the tank, not in, unless you've got a really good wire cage around it, because I've seen reptile stories that they have the cage around it, but they do it with snakes, which are notorious for slipping through small spaces and get in and wrap around the bulb, which clearly is not great. So, yeah. Look on my head. Alright, brat. So she's an adult. I've had her a few years. She's an amazing pet, great for kids especially, because they're just so mellow, they're so affectionate. You're affectionate. I mean, she doesn't care if you touch her head, doesn't care if you grab her head. She's super mellow, gives kisses. She's sweet. I've just noticed things like kids will get the baby bearded dragons, and generally with kids, you want to get them something that they can hold without squishing, because they like to do that. I'm going to grab something and squish. So, not a squisher. I'm probably going to do a review next on the leopard gecko, who she houses with, and I know so many of you are going to give me crap for that. But they're monitored on a daily basis for hours on end. And anytime I hear anything, it's usually because there's crickets in the tank and someone gets mistaken for a cricket. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's usually like a foot. So that's Cortana, or Schneider / Berber skink. She's staring you down. There she is. Great first pet, cheap first pet. Schneider skinks, like I said, like run $15 to $20, and then you get a tank usually between 10 and 30, and sand is cheap. I mean, everything on it's cheap. It's not going to be some huge expense once you get your overall tank set up. She is ridiculously cheap to upkeep. Alright, so hope you enjoyed Cortana and her antics. My crazy lizard. Alright, bye.